Hi guys, so the Centre for European Reform has some really bad news on the Brexit front, and it looks likely to get worse. A number of different sectors have been badly hit since the 1st of January, when Great Britain left the single market and the customs union, and third country status came in. ITV News has highlighted a few examples of companies struggling with Brexit as the pandemic eases. One business was New Covent Garden Flower Market in London, which sources most of its plants from the European Union. Since the beginning of the year, most of their imported stock needs paperwork in order to clear customs. The business is paying £55,000 a year in checks and certificates in order to get their goods into the country. However, the costs are only one of the headaches. There are also the delays too. Before Brexit, items would normally arrive within 24 hours. Now it's taking 3 days. Christmas trees arrive from Denmark, and sourcing them has meant extra costs which are in turn passed on to the consumer. A spokesperson for the company said, and I quote, "We're going to have to, or we won't be around this time next year. It's common sense." He went on to say, "We don't earn enough money to slide away £55,000. After July 2022, the customs procedures applied to trees will also affect cut flowers and some fruit and vegetables. There is a fear that many florists based in the UK may end up not selling flowers sourced from abroad, meaning less choice for British consumers. The Centre for European Reform ran an experiment where they modelled the trading performance of the UK if it had not left the European Union. It then compared it to trade data from countries like the US, Germany, Greece, New Zealand and Sweden, which had a performance that was similar to the UK's before it left the EU in 2016. The think tank then compared these results with the actual performance of the UK imports and exports since January. According to the latest trade data published by the Office for National Statistics, the think tank calculated that leaving the single market and customs union has reduced trade in goods in October by 15.7% or £12.6 billion. Now, while trade data is always in flux and continually being revised, the Deputy Director for the Centre for European Reform said that he was pretty confident that Brexit was responsible for this massive drop. He said, and I quote, "We know that goods trade across advanced economies is now higher than it was before the pandemic, apart from in the UK and a couple of other countries who have got some other problems. So we're pretty sure that it's not down to the pandemic that the UK is a long way behind other countries." And this is true. I recently showed a graph from the ONS in a video about the Express, which shows that the EU has made a recovery when it comes to trade, but the UK has not. The response from Boris Johnson's government is that there have been some teething problems since the end of the Brexit transition period. How long will they continue with that excuse? However, experts and heads of industry are predicting a permanent gap in trade in goods opening up. The writing is clearly on the wall. Recently, the OBR, the Office for Budget Responsibility, said that they believe the UK economy will shrink by 4% in the long term as a result of Brexit. UK exporters have also been struggling since January. Cheshire Cheese, which has been in the news throughout the year, say that before Brexit they exported to 16 countries in the European Union. Now the business is pretty much shut out of all, including Northern Ireland. This is due to health certificates that are required. These are necessary for goods that contain animal products. The head of the company said that export health certificates are costing him about £250,000 a year. He told the media, and I quote, "We're actually trapped at the moment. On the mainland of the UK, the same trade rules that apply to the European Union also apply to Northern Ireland. All cheese producers are now fishing in a very small pond, whereas before we had a vast sea to fish in. As I've said before, some companies with very deep pockets can throw money at the problems Brexit has created. Others will struggle to adapt to the new situation by attempting to export from a third country to the single market. Lord Frost seems more interested in threatening to trigger Article 16 of the Northern Ireland Protocol than try to help businesses who are facing an uncertain future in Great Britain. They need practical solutions from their government, and they need the worst of Brexit to be mitigated. Sadly, we all remember what Boris Johnson told business. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.